going on, everybody? It's Carlos, your host of the Just Fans podcast. I'm joined here with Rios. How's it going, Rios?
Buenos dias.
What?
I also can speak Spanish, sir.
Debatable, but we'll go along with it. How's everybody doing, man? It's week two. Hope everybody's excited. Hope everybody's set up their lineups already. If you haven't set up your fantasy football lineups, please do so. I mean, this is exciting times right now. I mean, for a lot of football teams, some not much for some. Us, how are we feeling, Rios?
As far as fantasy, I won one of my leagues, the other two I lost. So hopefully, all my opponents, all the players get hurt and score 0 points.
That's very lively of you. Yeah, man. It's
I'm
been
generous like that.
yeah, clearly. No, it's been a week of emotions here for Texans fans and well Houston fans in general. Or I know that the Astros play later on today, and man, I'm very confused at what's going on there with the Astros.
They're shitting the bed and they're doing what the Astros are doing right now because the two worst teams in the league that should have been easy sweeps. We've lost the series against both.
Exactly. So this Thursday, coming up, we will have our very own friend H Town Wheelhouse, our Astros expert, if you will, come on and talk with us about, hey, what's going on with our Astros? What do we expect? It's the last few games before playoff time. What are we expecting and all that? So we will be talking Astros. So really quick, we are at the Bull and Bear live. So if you're watching us right now. And you're in the Houston area, come through the Bull and Bear Live. Guess what? We will have, let me see, giveaway today, which is not near me. A giveaway today, which is a Framber Valdez World Series ring. Framber Valdez World Series ring to a lucky follower. So please come out, pick up your Framber Valdez. All you have to do is come in, get a little ticket, and if we choose your name at the by the beginning of our post game show after the Texans game, then you will be the winner of the Framber Valdez World Series ring.
And I'm open to bribes.
Yes, Rios is clearly open to bribes, but
I can be bought.
he can very easily be bought. Yes. No, so let's talk. I brought a few notes on it. Crazy that I actually got prepared for today.
Look at you.
I know, right?
Look at the growth.
Now the thing is, I have to see if I can read my handwriting, which is very probably not.
You're going to need a cryptologist.
Yes, I'm gonna. What is this? I think that's a Q. I don't know.
Are those hieroglyphics?
They're hieroglyphics. Yes, exactly. So, there were a lot of negatives and a lot of positives over last week's game with C.J. Stroud. Excuse me, with the Texans, not C.J. Stroud. I'm sorry. A lot of the highlights, some of the highlights have to do with C.J. Stroud. I mean, overall, I know stat wise, it probably wasn't his best game. Stats wise, it wasn't his best game. However, a lot of the stats that were produced by C.J. Stroud last game didn't really reflect his style of play. What do you think?
It wasn't necessarily a bad game. He had 42 pass attempts with 0 interceptions, which is no rookie has ever done in their debut basically. So he had a pretty solid outing by all means and measures. It was a very solid outing, not spectacular because there's no touchdowns.
Right.
We lost, but very very encouraging because again 42 pass attempts with no interceptions,
Right.
high completion percentage, had a decent amount of yards. It's just they became one dimensional and it's kind of hard to win when you're one dimensional in this league. You gotta be multidimensional. You gotta be able to establish the run and then use the run to establish the pass. They were kind of doing it backwards last week, which again, hopefully this week they kind of do a 180 and focus on running the ball and use that to set up the pass.
No, I agree. 100%. I agree with that. I don't see it as how do you call it? That was a negative part of it. Just being able to like not utilize the run, bad play calling, all of that. I think that attributed to a big part into the Texans losing last weekend against the Ravens. I feel like the win was actually pretty attainable because, I mean, let's be honest. Lamar Jackson didn't play his best game. He didn't really have anybody to throw to.
No, the strength of our defense is our secondary, so they did their job. It's just they couldn't contain the run because you had Lamar running over the place. That was where he went down, running over the place, and then they couldn't stop those two backups in the end zone.
Right. No, exactly. And so I think that was one of the things. So I want to go over a few things first. So I want to point out a fun fact right here. So C.J. Stroud's first pass was to himself. That's right. C.J. Stroud first NFL pass. Sorry, Week 1 pass was to himself. It was a deflected pass by Roquan Smith, and guess what? Only Brett Favre has done that.
Good company to be
Is
in.
he in good company? It depends on how you see it, right?
Football wise, yes.
Football wise, he's in good company.
As a
But
human being,
as a human being,
absolutely
I would not put those two together. Yes, exactly. So yeah, C.J. Stroud did throw the first pass to himself, technically, if you see it. So I want to talk about the play calling. The play calling. I thought that was the biggest weakness in the Texans game against the Ravens last week. I know I've been pretty adamant about that, but what another part was the O line. Today, the Texans don't have Laramie Tunsil in the lineup. Like you're already struggling with the O line, and now like you're missing a key part in your lineup. So with Laramie Tunsil not playing, the Texans. This is the O line. Your left tackle is Josh Jones. Who? Josh Jones. You like that? You like what I did there?
terrible.
Terrible. Yeah. Our left guard is Michael. I don't know if it's Dieter or Dieter. What do you think?
Dieter.
Dieter. Okay, cool. Then our center is Jared Patterson. Our right guard is Shaq Mason, who's the only recognizable name in this lineup. And our right tackle is George Font, taking in place for Titus Howard. And of course, Josh Jones. Who? Josh Jones is taking over for Laramie Tunsil today. It's a list of basically who's who in that lineup. I don't even know where to begin. I don't think I'm really familiar with any of those names.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
So basically, if you're 300 pounds and you're by NRG, bring some shoulder pads and
Yeah.
suit up.
it's open tryouts for O line for the Texans today. If you haven't noticed, so yeah, they're rolling out an O line that none of us really know. Shaq Mason's the only name that I recognize. Really, I mean Font. Yeah, he played last game for Titus, but how effective was he?
Not at all. He was terrible.
So I want to go over a little bit over the O line really quick. Some stats that I saw on the O line. So basically, the text. Hold on one second. I have the pass rush. I'm all out of order here, but whatever. Oh, here it is. So the O line didn't really protect C.J. Stroud that much. He took 10 QB hits, 5 sacks, and he was pressured almost 40% of the time. More accurate percentage, 37.5% of the time he was pressured. So
That's not good, right?
that I think 40% of the time being pressured, taking 10 QB hits, and then getting sacked 5 times. I don't think that's any good for anybody, especially being a rookie quarterback.
Well, on the flip side, we kind of did the same to Lamar. Lamar is, former MVP, been in the league for a while, and they have a better O line. So good defensive lines are going to they're going to get theirs basically. They're going to get their pressures. They're going to get their QB
Yeah.
hits.
Honestly, I would say the Colts' O line isn't much better, but that's the tale as old as time, right?
And it's crazy because they're not missing starters.
Yeah.
Their starting unit is intact. They're just not very good.
So last week, Anthony Richardson got sacked 4 times, and he was pressured about 35% of the time.
But watching back at the tape, look, he was running for his life most of the time.
He was.
And he was their leading rusher. And this week they get Zach Moss back, but he's not going to move the needle at all. He's a Jag, just another guy. He's not going to, he's not Jonathan Taylor. If they had Jonathan Taylor, it'd be a different story. I think this week Richardson's going to be the leading rusher again. He's probably going to be running for his life again.
Yeah, Richardson led the run game for the Colts. He had 10 attempts. He had 40 yards rushing, about 4 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown.
The rest of the backs got 26 yards on about 20 carries. It was bad.
It was pretty bad, nonetheless. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, the J.T. Jackson was the only Colts running back last game. He had 13 attempts, and he only ran for 14 yards, 1.1 yards per carry, and 1 fumble, by the way.
Between him and Deion Jackson, it was bad.
So I guess you can say, I mean, obviously we have the better running back in Dameon Pierce, but they have to utilize him. They have to utilize Dameon Pierce in the run game today. He's essential for that.
Yeah, listening to some of the pressers from Bobby Slowick, that they realize, they need to get back to running the ball.
You don't say, Rios. You don't say.
Yeah, who would have figured?
Who would have figured that you have, maybe a top 10 running back in the league and you don't use him?
Yeah, if he has 12 carries, unless he's had 120 yards on those 12 carries, yeah, he should not have carried the ball 12 times. It should be at least minimum 20 carries.
He had Okay, so he had 11 attempts, 38 yards, and about 3.5 yards per carry. Those are Lamar Jackson numbers. Lamar Jackson had 38 yards rushing last week against the Texans.
Yeah, they did a semi decent job of keeping him in the pocket. He escaped a couple of times, but no huge runs like he normally does. But the problem was we got away from the run in the second half. Like the game was still close. I don't understand why they decided to just come out and throw like 30 times. It's baffling to say the least.
Yeah, I think they had put CJ Stroud in just a bad predicament last week. And again, that to me that goes back to bad play calling. Um, I do want to say that I feel like one of the keys of victory for today's game is they have to contain Anthony Richardson's legs, much like they did to Lamar Jackson. Um, Lamar Jackson last week, I mean, the Texans gave up 38 yards, like I said, for Lamar Jackson, and every time he ran, he was running for like 6.3 yards per carry, just Lamar Jackson alone.
Yeah, basically anytime he ran the ball was him picking up first downs. It wasn't huge runs, but they were important runs,
Yeah,
which you want to limit this week. Minimize them getting first downs. Have them in third and long situations because then it's going to be an obvious pass. And Richardson's accuracy leaves a little bit to be desired, to say the least.
yeah, I feel like Lamar Jackson's runs were a little bit more coordinated, I guess. Because he has the experience, and that's basically what Lamar Jackson does, right? He extends those first down plays with his legs, but Anthony Richardson seems to be almost about the same. So
I wouldn't say his or as methodical as Lamar Jackson. I think he was running to try to pick up the yards
right,
himself.
no, that's what I'm saying. Lamar Jackson's were more methodical than Anthony Richardson's will probably be. I think Richardson will probably, with his inexperience coming in, I think it's most likely going to be trying to run for my life here.
Trying
Trying
to
to
do too much, basically.
trying to do too much, which is, we can say that TJ Stroud was kind of doing that last week too, also in some plays.
Kind of forced to because
Forced to, yeah.
they were one dimensional. They weren't running the ball.
Yeah, no, exactly. So obviously today they have to. The Texans have to, and I don't know if I've emphasized they have to run the ball today. 11 attempts for 38 yards for Damian Pierce is just unacceptable for a running back like that. That can't happen.
I think the key to victory this week is Pierce has to have more carries than Stroud has pass attempts. And if
Exactly.
CJ throws more than 20 times, it's going to be an ugly outing. I think you want to keep his pass attempts under 20 this week. Protect that shoulder, and
Yeah.
keep the Colts on the sideline. Keep run the ball, control the clock, minimize turnovers, and capitalize when you're in the red zone. No more field goals.
No more field goals. Seriously. Again, like I said last week, and it actually ended up happening. I was like, the Texans usually struggle at the beginning whenever they go for three and out, an immediate three and out. That to me, that just signifies what kind of game we're going to have.
Tale as old as time.
Exactly. So, let me see. What else did I want to talk about? I want to talk about. Ew, no, the Cowboys. Somebody said Cowboys gross. I mean, they did lay the smackdown on the Giants, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive seeing the Giants get beat down that way. I'm sorry.
No, the best part was when they had them mic'd up and they were talking, making them quit at halftime. Like, bro, those guys had families.
Those guys had families. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the Cowboys at all, but that was pretty funny just seeing them beat down somebody that bad. That was awful.
I don't care for any team from New York either, so it's a
Yeah,
win-win.
it's a win-win in our book. We got to see a beatdown, so that was fun. Um, so today, okay, so I want to talk about some of the a couple particular plays that I saw last week with CJ Stroud that were just very impressive. One in particular was during the first quarter, about like 6 minutes and 39 seconds remaining in the first quarter. So there was a particular play, and this also accounts to the bad play calling. O line was blocking to the left, but there's also no halfback on the backfield or even a tight end to block on that particular play. So now you got only 5 players on the O line blocking, and then Baltimore had sent 6 pass rushers. So obviously leaving one guy open. That guy happened to be Jadeveon Clowney.
That's not good, right?
No, it is not. I don't know if you know, 6 is greater than 5. Anyway, so
It's not great when you have free runners and your rookie quarterback
Right.
all game.
and then one of them being Jadeveon Clowney. Yes, we talked about Jadeveon Clowney last week, but you still can't leave him open. That's just open space for him. And so they left him wide open, unprotected. And the thing is, they had about 20 seconds on the clock to at least get the halfback to come back and try to give that extra protection to CJ Stroud, but they didn't do that. However, CJ Stroud did pick up on it, and he made it. He picked up on it. Went around Jadavion Clowney and threw the ball for a potential first down. The reason I says potential first down is because he got called for. I think got flagged by. I think it was Laramie Tunsil that got a flag or something like that.
Another tales of
Well,
this time.
yeah, Laramie Tunsil. So at least we won't see as many flags today. I think, right?
I'll take the flags versus
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
the third, fourth stringers out there.
right. And so what I saw in that particular game, and a lot of patterns that I saw with CJ Stroud, he was a pretty good game manager, and he was able to, he got some timing routes correct. He hit over the middle, and he was able to pull the trigger when it was needed. Like that play when he hit Robert Woods like down the middle. You remember that one?
Yeah.
There was like 31 in the second quarter, about like 11 minutes or something like that. And it was all man coverage, and he was able to hit Robert Woods down the middle.
Yeah, his timing and his ball placement is like it's elite. Like it's pretty impressive for a rookie. I think the problem is we just they were trying to force the ball a little bit too much to Nico, and I would rather them try to spread it out a little bit more. He did a good job spreading the ball out, but I think
He did.
not focus on one guy. You got to get Tank Dell more involved.
I agree. And going back to your point that you said, timing is very difficult, especially for rookies. Like rookies, he. I think from what I understand, it's the timing is probably the most difficult part for a rookie quarterback to accomplish. And he was actually doing a pretty good job. And a lot of the times it accounts for being a bust quarterback or not. It's a big difference maker.
Yeah,
And he has that.
accuracy.
Yeah, and those are two things that CJ Stroud does actually have. We saw some of that last week. I know that there were some throws to Nico Collins, but that I don't really blame CJ on that one. There was some of them were very catchable throws to Nico Collins going back and reviewing the tape.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying I blame him. Going to him, it's just he's not the most reliable target.
He's not. There was one also another play where he threw it to Tank Dell on a third down situation and he got the first down. That right there was good just because you were able to get um, Tank Dell involved, and this was one of those attempts where he threw it to Tank Dell and he nailed it. And honestly, it's a play that how do you call it, a veteran quarterback could make down to the sideline, and he did it well with a great timing and great accuracy.
Yeah, just going back to training camp, just the connection that they had in training camp and preseason. Like, I don't understand why they got away from that in the regular season. Like Noah Brown's, he's okay receiver, but like, come on, like he's not a difference maker like Tank Dell is. Like, get the guy in open space, you saw what he can do. So now with him on injured reserve, this is definitely Tank Dell's chance to have, hey, I need to be the starter.
Yeah, I think he has to establish that I'm the starter personality. He has to stick out more, I think, and honestly, I see that connection, that chemistry that they'll both have together. I think it's something that the Texans can build on. A little connection that they can have. So I wanted to talk, and all this is obviously just a learning experience for CJ Stroud. As he goes along, that's the interesting part coming into this season that I really wanted to see is the development. Like it's kind of like when you're watching a series and the character develop. You start off slow, and then just the character development gets better throughout the show, and that to me that accounts for a great show. When you get to see obviously the mishaps, the mistakes, and all that. Yeah, it can be frustrating at times, but that's what makes you enjoy that character even more, right?
The growing process.
The growing process. It's what do they say? Sometimes it's not about the destination, but the journey itself. Well, that one, I mean,
Look at you being
I
philosophical.
know, right? I stayed up to practice today, sir. No, I'm just kidding.
What's
No.
in that water?
There's a lot of things in that water. Now, so today I wanted to compare a little bit with the Colts versus Texans. So let's talk about Richardson and C.J. Stroud. Okay, so let's compare some stats between them. Last week, Richardson against the Jacksonville Jaguars had one touchdown, one interception, 223 yards, and ended it with a 79% QB rating. And the touchdown that he threw was under duress. So, that speaks pretty well about him. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, he had 242 yards, obviously more than Richardson. He ended it with a 78% QB rating. He averaged 5.5 yards per attempt. He had no touchdowns, but at the same time, he also had no interceptions. Okay, how are you comparing these two quarterbacks together based off of that in today's game?
I think this week we're going to see a reversal. I think we're going to see less pass attempts from both teams. I think For one, the Texans want to protect CJ because he's missing four starters in the O line, so
Oh yeah.
they're gonna try to focus on the run game. Probably few short passes to pick up first downs on like on third down. I
Mhm.
think for the Colts, they're going. The strength of our team is the secondary. And I don't think they're going to want to test our secondary, so they're probably going to try to run it a little bit more, and probably more. You're going to see more halfback screens, more passes to the tight end. It's going to be a lot of short. I don't see them trying to go attack the middle of the field or try to go deep against the secondary. So it's going to be more of an old school football game. A lot of running, a lot of trying to force turnovers.
Okay, a lot of first turnovers. I understand that. I think both teams, like you said right now, that obviously CJ Stroud needs some better pass protection, but also I think both teams do really, based on the pressures and the sacks for both of them. I mean, honestly, Richardson just had one less sack than CJ Stroud did on his first game.
Yeah, they were both under a lot of duress last week, but
Yeah.
again, we were missing starters. They're not missing any
Yeah,
starters.
that's the thing. And so I want to talk about one of them. Like I said, Richardson got pressured 34% of the time, while CJ got pressured about close to 40% of the time at 37.5. So Brandon Smith, their right tackle, is going to go off against Will Anderson today. Will Brandon Smith didn't have such a good game last week against the Jacksonville pass rush.
Yeah, Will Anderson's about to steal that man's lunch right
Yeah,
now.
and that's the thing. And Will Anderson had last week. Will Anderson had one sack, two quarterback hits, and six tackles, and all of them came from the right side.
This man about to feast.
Yeah, he's about to feed. So Brendan Smith has his work cut out for him from the Colts today against Will Anderson. And again, that's his bread and butter right there. Will Anderson from the right side going off against Brandon Smith. I honestly think we're going to see some QB hits. We're going to get. I'm going to see some sacks from that side. I'm going to think at least he gets at least 1.5 sacks or two. Will Anderson this season. What do you think?
Yeah, I see at least one. I think who's going to have a good game is Bernard.
Oh yeah, Jonathan Bernard
Because
also.
I think the Colts are going to try to slow down Will Anderson. There's going to be some more double teams, and that's basically going to leave Bernard and Jerry Hughes as well, and a lot of one-on-one situations.
Jerry Hughes is 98 years old and he can still run.
Yeah, he was impressive last week. So was Bernard. Like
He was.
that D line had a great game last week. It's just there was just a couple mistakes that led to touchdowns.
Yeah. No, exactly. I had so I want to talk about a little bit about the Texans pass rush, including Will Anderson's contributions and obviously Grenard and Terry Hughes. So last week the Texans pass rush had 4 sacks on Lamar Jackson last week. They pressured about 42.3% of the time. So that was some of the stats for the Texans pass rush. The Colts pass rush only had 2 sacks. Sorry, only had 2 sacks. Microphone went off a little bit. Only had 2 sacks, and they pressured the quarterback 23. They pressured Anthony Richardson 23.5% of the time, and they only had 4 quarterback hits.
Yeah, their pass rush leaves a lot to be desired. I think both their D line and O line have they got a lot of work they need to. They have a lot of stuff they need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the Colts pass rush, getting to CJ a lot, even with this, banged
O-line.
up O line.
Mm-hmm.
Especially again, if I was the play caller, run the ball, run the ball, and run the ball. Just take advantage of their weak pass rush because Jacksonville ran the ball all over them last week.
They did. So our pass defense, uh, they made Lamar against Lamar Jackson. He had 169 yards, 1 interception, and they gave him a 79.5 quarterback rating. They, and that contributes to a lot of his playing ability for Lamar Jackson, his ability to escape from the pocket, to be able to use his legs. Obviously, that helps boost up, excuse me, those stats. The Texans did struggle a bit against Zay Flowers in the slot. He had 9 receptions for 78 yards. So I wanted to compare the Colts' wide receiver one, Michael Pittman. I know last week against Jacksonville Jaguars, he had 11 targets, 8 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. How do we see our pass defense against Michael Pittman today?
That's a good question. If I was them, I would probably put Steven Nelson on him.
Okay.
Put the veteran on him.
All right.
So him now, because outside of Pittman, I can't even name another receiver on the Colts.
I think that, I mean, obviously he's established himself as wide receiver one for the Colts, but I don't see anybody else really stepping up to that at that point. Um, but yeah, I think they need to really, yeah. So you say Steven Nelson, put him on there.
Yeah, put the veteran on him. I love Stingley, but again, he doesn't have a ton of experience yet.
Right.
So I would say, because this game is a must win. It's a divisional game. You don't want to go down 0-2, especially to a division rival,
Right.
especially when probably the rest of our division is going to lose this week.
Yeah.
So definitely don't want to be 0-2. You don't want to be at the bottom. If they can pull off the win this week, they'll be tied for first place.
Right, exactly. So let's see. So the Texans on the offensive side of the ball, I know I talked about Michael Pittman had 11 targets, 8 8 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. On the opposite side, Robert Woods had 10 targets, only 6 receptions out of those 10. He went for 50, and he only got like 57 yards out of those. Nico Collins, however, had 11 targets and only 6 of those were receptions. He went for 80 yards.
Yeah, he picked up decent yards, but I think, they targeted him way too many times. He's not reliable as far as pass catcher at all. I think they need to focus more on getting the ball to Schultz. Schultz was a much more reliable target.
Yeah, no, exactly. So against Schultz, I agree. So they had so let me talk about. I know we talked about our pass defense, but let me talk about the Colts pass defense. The Colts pass defense gave up 2 touchdowns to Trevor Lawrence, and they gave him 103.8 passing quarterback rating.
That's not good, is it?
No, it's awful. So honestly, I feel pretty comfortable with that. You know, obviously the Ravens have a better pass rush than the Colts do, and if you were able to, get Nico with 80 yards and even Robert Woods at 57 yards, I think that may be a weakness we may be able to expose. Again, it all depends on the type of play calling that we have today. We have to use a run in order for CJ Stroud to be able to dissect that defense.
Agreed. I think this game is going to come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes. Whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this game. And I think both coordinators are going to establish the run a little bit more. They don't want to put their rookie quarterbacks in a little bit of danger because, again, we have a better pass rush and a better secondary.
Yeah.
And on our side, we're missing pretty much the entire starting O line.
Yeah, exactly. So all missing O line, except for like really just Shaq Mason. Really, that's it, and Font. That's the only ones we're missing.
Well, Font's not a starter.
He's not, but at the moment, for the next couple of weeks until Titus Howard gets there. But nonetheless, let's go over, since we're live here at the Bull and Bear Pub, let's go over some of the what they have going on right now. So they have a $7.99. Oops, can you hear me? All right, $7.99 burger or dog basket. There's a new whiskey that we're trying out here at the Bull and Bear. I believe it's called Fox's Bow, and that is, it says apparently it might be the first in the USA and Texas to offer. So Fox's Bow, give it a shot for $4.99. $4 for 16-ounce pint beers of the month. So for $4 you get the 16-ounce pint beers for the month. $5 for the 20-ounce. Also, we are giving away a Framber Valdez World Series ring. If anybody's interested, all you got to do is follow us on our YouTube channel, and then just sign up for one of the tickets, and we'll choose the drawing right after the Texans game during our post game show. So Framber Valdez World Series ring,
or just bribe me. I accept cash, Venmo, PayPal.
All that. Don't listen to him. He's only won harp down.
Breakfast of Champions.
Breakfast of Champions. There you go. Okay. So aside from that, I mean, I guess it's a little too early to discuss that, but how are you still as optimistic after seeing the first game for the Texans as you were at the beginning? Before the season started?
Seeing the rest of our division, yeah.
Okay. Do you still think the Texans make the playoffs?
It's gonna come down to the wire. I think it's gonna be between us and Jacksonville.
I don't see it. I still don't see the Texans going in there. I mean,
you also thought Davis Mills was going to be good. So your opinion?
I didn't say Davis Mills was going to be good. That never happened. All I said is I hope that he would be good, but there were some flashes. But I didn't think he was going to be the guy. I mean, all of it was during trash time. Really, a lot of his stats were blown up from then. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think he's gonna do it. Does the shoulder injury that CJ Stroud has right now, does that concern you?
No, he sprained his AC joint back in 2021, and next game he threw for 400 plus yards. So I'm not too worried about it.
So are we gonna see a 400 plus yard game today?
No, I think I think today is probably going to be probably it'll be in the hundreds. Like I said, if they keep his passes under 20 and keep the rushing attempts over 20, we should be in good shape.
Okay, so at that point, so so you still kind of do see us going to the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I still don't agree with you. I still don't. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't. I just don't realistically see it. I see us at most getting second or third place in the division because I saw the Titans play. They were in rough shape. The Titans were just in rough shape, so I didn't really expect much from them. Right, exactly. There you go. Anything that comes out of Tennessee is awful. I mean, what do you think?
yeah, they look terrible. Like I said, they would. Hopkins was a great blocker for Derrick Henry. That's all he did
Yeah,
basically.
that's it. I mean, is he? I don't even think is he really going to be starting really that much this year?
Well, Hopkins.
No, not Hopkins. How do you call it? Derrick Henry. Because it's apparently is he still going to be like their first down back?
Yeah, I think problem isn't Derrick Henry so much. I mean, he's getting to that age where running backs have a sharp
Right.
decline. I think the problem is Tannehill. He threw 3 interceptions last week.
That's right. Yeah, I forgot Tannehill. Yeah.
He's probably gonna be benched by the bye at this rate
Well,
because
when we talked to Sam, our first, our I guess our Titan specialist, which isn't much to say, there's not much to brag about Sam. He did mention
he's a terrible human being.
he's
We
an
hate him.
awful. You should hate him as much as we did. No, I'm kidding. No,
We're not.
he mentioned that most likely could this be Tannehill's last game as a Titan?
If he has
I
another
guess
performance like last week,
he's
you've got
done.
to see what you have in Willis and Mayo boy.
Mayo boy. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, honestly, with the Titans being in such a rough shape, I personally see the lineup at the end of the season as uh, honestly Jacksonville. It depends how the Colts play today, but I can still see us in second place, and then the Colts, and then the Titans. That's how I see it.
I think it's gonna be a battle for last place between the Colts and the Titans.
Hmm.
Just because again they're not missing starters, and they're playing terrible. Imagine if they had any injuries, it'd be even worse. And the Titans are the Titans. They I think they wasted a lot of Derrick Henry's prime with Tannehill. Like
They
they
did.
really should have tried to get upgraded the quarterback position, but hey,
So let me ask you. I'm looking at the screen right now. I'm looking at Jordan Love for the Packers. Were you surprised at his performance last week, or were you not? Or did you expect that?
so I have a lot of Packer friends on Twitter, and they were real big on Jordan Love, and they would send me clips to look at. I'm like, he might actually be the guy at quarterback. I don't know if he's gonna be Aaron Rodgers, but he was actually pretty impressive, and I wasn't too surprised seeing him last week.
You weren't too surprised about it?
No, like I said, I have a few Packer friends on Twitter, and they show me stuff, and I'm like, okay, I see the vision, I see it.
He had what did he go? It was 15, 27 attempts, 15 completions, 245 yards. He averaged about 9.1 yards, three touchdowns, zero interceptions. He took a sack, and he had a 123.2%.
Then again, it's also the Bears, but still, it was pretty impressive for his essentially debut.
Speaking of which, what did you think of Josh Fields? His performance against the Bears? Did you expect that? He's
I was expecting more, honestly. I really was. Like, he got a lot of hype in the offseason, and I was really hoping to see it as well. But I don't know, man.
Did you think that just by them with Claypool, do you think he was going to be able to get those stats somewhat up or no?
Well, Claypool, absolutely not. Claypool he doesn't seem interested to be an NFL wide receiver. Like looking at the some of the highlights from last week, like dude gave zero effort. Like he just didn't seem like he wanted to be out there. And there's a reason Pittsburgh gave him up for peanuts. Because he's just he's fast, he's big, but he again doesn't have a heart. Doesn't have it all up here, right? To want to be great at the NFL receiver position.
Right. So, what did you think? Now, moving on to different quarterbacks. So, we talked about Josh Fields and Jordan Love. I know we've talked already about Anthony Richardson, what we expect from him, and C.J. Stroud, of course. What other quarterbacks stood out to you this past week?
Hmm.
I was thinking of Tua, but what you think?
Well, too, that's to be expected. You got the fastest guy in the NFL in Tyreek Hill, so that's to be expected. And you have another basically wide receiver one in Waddle. That
Mhm.
dude would be number wide receiver one on pretty much every team in the league. So he has the weapons.
Mhm.
Tua's big thing is just staying healthy. That's it. Just if that man can stay healthy, he's gonna have a Pro Bowl. He's gonna have an All Pro level season.
Yeah. So Tua stats were he completed 62% of his attempts. He went for 466 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, quarterback rating of 110.
Yeah, pretty impressive. Another one that impressed me also was Goff.
Oh yeah, Jared Goff did pretty good. Yeah.
He's just had his problem is he's had with the Lions basically he's had the weapons on offense. It's just that defense. They were the top scoring offense last year, but they gave up the most points as well.
So let me ask you. So I know that Jared Goff had 62.9% completion, 253 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a quarterback rating of 94.1. Does that attribute more to his receivers, his offense, or do you think that was just the Chiefs' lack of defense?
I wouldn't blame it so much on the Chiefs. They were missing Chris Jones, but I think most of that was Goff and his the play calling and his weapons on offense. So speaking of which, they should definitely utilize Jameer Gibbs a lot more.
Yeah.
That man was, he looked explosive and he looked untouchable when he had the ball. But they barely gave him the ball. It was basically giving it to Montgomery to fall forward for 3 yards.
That's true. No, I 100% I agree. Okay, so there are a few games today that I wanted to see which ones are more like which ones are we're looking forward to. So we got Minnesota. Let me see. They lost 28-34 against the Eagles.
Yeah, that wasn't so much on Cousins. That was more on just their defense. They could not stop they couldn't stop the run at all. They were averaging almost 6 yards a carry.
Yeah, they were
with the backup running back.
Yeah, with a backup running back. Yeah,
yeah. Career day had 175 yards rushing, a touchdown. Jalen Hurts had I think 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing touchdown.
Yeah, they just couldn't stop the run at all. So that was the Vikings really fell apart defensively, really against the Eagles.
Yeah, they had almost 300 yards rushing. Yeah, it was bad.
They looked like us last year. That was that bad. So you got the Ravens versus the Bengals today. What do you expect to see there?
I expect a turnaround from Joe Burrow. He had a terrible game last week. I was having fantasy, so I needed to throw like 5 touchdowns. But I think this week, I think what set them back last week was Jamar Chase, trying to basically talk trash about the Cleveland mascot, and they took it personal.
Against the Cleveland mascot?
Yeah, the Browns.
Geez. Right. Yeah. No, I get that, but he was talking mess to the Cleveland Browns mascot.
He thought they were called the Cleveland Elves, and they took that personally, and they shut down. They shut Chase down, and they shut Burrow down.
Imagine that.
Yeah,
playing hard because you insulted the team's mascot.
Hey, whatever it takes. Right. So I think this week they're gonna have a bounce back. Well, again, I also have Jamar Chase in fantasy. So I need them to have bounce back games.
So you take the Ravens over the Bengals, or do you think the Bengals over the Ravens?
No, I got the Bengals over the Ravens. Not just for that, but also the Ravens secondary is still banged up. And again, Burrow is a much more seasoned quarterback than CJ, so he's going to take advantage of that banged up secondary.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah. So then we got the Lions versus Seattle. I'm going to take the Lions on that one. What about you?
That should be a good one.
Deshaun Watson.
We wish nothing but horrible things for him.
Terrible human being. He sucks. Yeah, no. I mean, you can tell that there's still rust in him. Like
he doesn't look like the same guy from 3 years ago. Which I'm happy for. I pray for the downfall.
So I don't know if you guys know. So if the Cleveland Browns have like a terrible season, our draft pick goes higher. Like we have the Cleveland Browns as draft pick. But because this year we gave away, not gave away. We used what did we trade? We traded next year's first draft pick. That's what it was, right? To the Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, and so now, we're really relying on that Cleveland first pick, right?
We're relying on their downfall because Arizona owns our first round pick, so we can't tank.
Yeah, we can't tank. So, yeah, no, I agree. So going back to the Lions Seahawks, I'm looking forward to the Lions just beating down the Seahawks. They deserve it, honestly.
That should be a shootout, honestly. Yeah. And I think if it goes to a shootout, I'm gonna give the edge to Jared Goff.
Yeah, I think so.
But Geno's been impressive as well.
Geno just revitalized his career in Seattle.
Hey, I love to see it, man.
I do too. Yeah. So I'll take the Lions over Seattle. You?
Yeah, same.
Okay. Bears versus Bucks. The tail, like the worst versus the worst.
The battle of mid.
Yeah. Also, I want to throw out that I hope the Bucks lose because of Baker Mayfield, who was making comments about the Astros this week.
He's from South Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Losers stick together.
yeah. It explains his lack of championships in the NFL.
It's like a success period.
Yeah,
Just like the Rangers.
yeah. So for that reason, I do hope the Bears just be terrible against. I mean, just completely dominate over the Bucks.
I want to see Baker be Baker, throw interceptions, blame everybody else, and pout and whine on the sidelines and in the press conference.
Chiefs Jaguars. I hope the Jaguars lose.
Yeah, I think
First,
I think it's going to be ugly, just because I think the Chiefs got a bad taste of losing when they basically unveiled their championship banner. So they're out for blood. Kelsey's on a pitch count, so I think they're going to rely heavily on the run game this week.
Right.
And again, Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to get his. You could put us out there receive. We're going to get a couple catches.
Right. Okay. I see that.
The Jaguars, their defense they had trouble with Richardson for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine with Mahomes. They do play him tough, though. I'll give them credit for that. They do play Kansas City pretty well, especially like last year in the playoffs. But I think Kansas City has a little bit more motivation this week because again, you want to get that taste of a loss out of your mouth real quick.
Right. Let's go with Packers and Falcons. They're both 1-0. They both won their first games. Bijan Robinson looks like he's the real deal.
Oh yeah, I was impressed by him. That's kid special.
So, how do you think the Packers are gonna try to defend that against the Falcons, the running game?
They're definitely going to stack the boxes on Bijan. This is going to be a good test for Desmond Ritter because he didn't have to throw the ball a whole lot last week. So this is going to be a good test for him. But the Packers are missing Aaron Jones, so that might hurt them a little bit just because AJ Dillon is not Aaron Jones. He's a powerful back, but he's not super explosive. He's not a great pass catcher. So it's going to limit them a little bit on offense. So it should be an interesting matchup.
Okay. Now we got Raiders versus Bills. Oh, by the way, I'm going to take the Falcons on that one against the Packers. Raiders versus Bills. I'm going to take the Bills. You?
Well, on the other one, go Packers. On this one,
Packers on. Packers. It looks like they're going to be playing in Atlanta. Yeah, Atlanta. Yeah, yeah. I would take Atlanta on that one just because of the home field advantage and all that. So I would say Atlanta for sure. Bills, Raiders.
Speaking of the Packers, how about Aaron Rodgers going down after?
Man, that's what I was going to talk about.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. I think he held the flag longer than we ran with the flag longer than he actually
played.
Man, that was honestly, I felt bad for the Jets organization at that point.
They're from New York. I feel zero sympathy for them at all.
The Rios feels no sympathy because they're from New York, but I felt bad for them because I was like, they were so hyped up. They even did the HBO Hard Knocks with him and all. They built him up so much, and he lasted 4 plays.
You know what? It reminds me of another guy that didn't retire soon enough,
Brett Favre, yeah, exactly. He's following
same career. So he's gonna play for the Vikings.
He plays for the Vikings next year, and it's Kirk Cousins' last year in contract too. So there you go.
The script writers are on fire right now.
Writing the script, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, man, that was such. I mean, if I was a Jets fan right now, I'd be upset, horribly.
I mean, they've been in business since 1969.
You're a Met fan? Yeah, there you go.
Oh man,
there you go. Jets and Mets to the downfall.
The second factory of sadness next to
Cleveland.
I
know.
Gosh. In 1969, it was a miracle season for New York. Mets and Jets both were champions. They were should not have won.
Mets and Jets were champions in '69. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Old enough to remember those days.
Yeah, no, I think Rios might be.
I was 35 back then.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, back to the Bills and Raiders. I'm going to take the Bills on that one. I think they're hunting because I think they lose last week, right?
Yeah, they also lost.
I think they're coming back for revenge. They're pissed.
Yeah, same here. Raiders, I wasn't super impressed by them.
No, I wasn't either. I don't think the Raiders are going to be anywhere decent in the next 10 years.
I had high hopes for Jimmy G, but it's like, I don't know. It's just a matter of time until that handsome bastard get hurt.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the Bills. Who are you taking?
Bills.
Okay. Titans, Chargers. I think I wasn't too impressed with Austin Eckler this past week.
Well, he was playing hurt and he's out this week.
So, and I also want the Titans to lose. So I'm going to take the Chargers over the Titans because the Titans are just a mess right now.
Yeah, the Titans can't stop anyone. I think Herbert's going to have a huge game. It's going to have at least 400 yards passing, at least 4 touchdowns. He's going to have a big game, even without Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially without Eckler, because they're not going to run the ball that much. So they're going to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah. But I still like. I mean, obviously Herbert over Tannehill or whoever it is the Titans are starting today. Um,
Don't be surprised if Tannehill gets benched at halftime.
Yeah.
He has a bad game.
you predicting that? You wanna make that? You wanna predict that
I
Tannehill
think
gets benched halftime?
If he has a bad game, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure he gets benched at halftime.
All right, deal. We'll hold you to that. All right. So Chargers, you said?
Yeah,
Chargers. Okay. 49ers Rams. That one's gonna be a good one. I want to see that one.
definitely be a good one.
Probably game of the week.
I wouldn't call it game of the week, but it should be interesting. I think it's going to come down to if the 49ers can
That
basically
defense, man. That
that-
defense that they have not missed a beat even without the
if they can
Miko.
slow down Stafford because their running game isn't super impressive. If they can
Yeah.
slow down Stafford, it'll get ugly real quick.
Okay. This game's gonna suck. Who you taking? I'm sorry, 49ers or Rams?
49ers.
49ers.
Hopefully McCaffrey has a bad game because I'm going against him in fantasy, so
Yeah.
he can take the day off.
Okay, I will take the Rams on that one just to be opposite of you. All right, this one's gonna suck. It's Giants and Cardinals. Tank Bowl.
Yuck.
That's gross. Honestly, I want to say the Giants just because the Cardinals are in tank mode. They're trying to get a quarterback.
They're taking for Caleb
Yeah.
Williams.
Yeah. So, I don't think
They
so.
might run out the coach at quarterback at this point. You know,
Yeah. So it's Giants for sure because the Cardinals are not serious this season. They're trying to get Caleb Williams, like you said. So I don't see it. Cowboys Jets. I hate to say it. I hope she's not here. I'm gonna take the Cowboys over the Jets.
God,
It's hard to say out loud, isn't it?
God forgive me, taking the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's sacrilegious.
Uh,
Last week, I turned the game off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
33-0. They took the game
I-
off.
after the second quarter, I changed the channel. I was like, I
Man.
can't watch this.
I would have watched Netflix instead. It was such a terrible game for the Giants, but
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't think it'll be as bad for the Jets. Their defense is much better than the Giants.
Mhm.
They're not going to win, but it should be close.
Okay.
I'm gonna give them their defense is pretty legit. I'm gonna give them a chance, but they're still gonna lose.
Okay, so Cowboys over the Jets, right? Still.
God forgive me, but yes.
All right. All right. Here's another relevant game: Broncos versus Commanders.
Oh man. Ooh,
The battle of suck.
I'm gonna go Commanders.
Commanders.
The Broncos, they're a mess. Even with Sean Payton, they're
Sean
still
Payton,
a mess.
All right, Commanders it is. I'll take that. Nothing really to write about on those. It just don't seem. It's very anticlimactic. Dolphins Patriots should be pretty good.
I should be going, divisional one. I think,
That's tonight's game. That's Sunday night game.
yeah, it's a divisional game, but it's going to be interesting to see how Belichick tries to scheme slowing down Tyreek and Waddle.
This should be fun. I still take the Dolphins over the Patriots, though.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
Because Miami's defense isn't that great either, so it's going to be a shootout. It should be an entertaining game. Better than last Sunday night's game because oh my god, that was snooze fest.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like we have 2 Monday night games tomorrow. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got the Saints and Panthers and then we got the Browns versus the Steelers. All right, let's talk about Saints and Panthers. Honestly, I might take the Saints on that one over the Panthers.
Yeah, I think the Panthers. The Saints. They're going to come out with Bryce big time because that line can't protect them. They're going to be engaged in all game.
That just blitz them. We remember the Titans. We blitz them all night. Yeah.
Pretty much, and
Yeah.
it's gonna get ugly really quick.
Yeah.
And I know it pains our other co-hosts to pick the Saints, but you know what?
Yeah, our other co-host that works on Sundays, loser. Okay.
He has generational hate for the Saints.
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
understand. He's been in the country 6 months. I don't even know. He can't even find New Orleans on the map.
He used to see them in Venezuela all the time. No. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints over the Panthers just because, like you said, I think they're gonna pressure Bryce Young. Also, I think as it goes along, I know Derek Carr is not really a consistent quarterback here and there, but he might develop some chemistry, with who he's got. So I don't know. I'm gonna take the Saints over that one.
Well, I have Michael Thomas in fantasy,
Right.
so I need him to have some points. So.
Oh, you're just being biased now. And finally, Browns versus Steelers, dude. After the Steelers' performance last week, I hate this. I hate that the Browns are. I'm gonna take the win for the Browns on that one, and I hate to say it.
Yeah, Steelers didn't look great.
Steelers are bad.
It's on both sides of the ball, really.
Yeah. What's his name? Their offensive is it Matt Canada or something like that? The coordinator, Matt Canada or something like that. Is that
I can't remember his name.
Yeah. So that guy, I mean, he didn't change. I know the expectation for Pittsburgh Steelers fans were that he was going to change up the offense or whatever, but apparently he stayed completely the same, and so it was very predictable. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh's identity's always been, a run team, and they try to force Kenny Pickett to be the guy, and it's just not
It's not
working.
going to happen. Tiny hands Pickett. Yeah. All right. So tiny hands Pickett. That's right. So I'm going to take the Browns over the Steelers.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ugly game. I got Cleveland as well.
All right. All right. So before we go, we got like another 5 minutes before we go, so that y'all can go and say your fantasy lineups forever for those of you watching. So I want to make score predictions for the Texans versus the Colts game today, since we are Texans fans. I'm gonna say Texans win 20-14 against the Colts. I'm gonna take the win for that one.
I also got us winning 21-13.
So it looks like it's gonna be a close game. Would you say that?
Yeah, like I said, it's gonna be close. Like we had a roundtable earlier this week with a Colts guy, and both of us we were in agreement. It's gonna be a close game.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna come down to basically who wins the turnover battle.
Okay.
Whoever makes the most mistakes is gonna lose the game.
There's going to be plenty because both of them are rookie quarterbacks. So the second
Exactly.
game, so there's going to be a lot of like I said last week, bonehead mistakes, and we saw it happen with CJ last week, a few of them. But hey, you know what? I think his overall performance last week, even though stat wise it doesn't really show it, honestly, I think he overcame those bonehead mistakes. But you will see them more today, I think.
I mean, most of pretty much the analysts and guys actually played the game professionally. They all said TJ had a great game. So people,
I
trying to
agree.
pick on him, saying he had a bag in. No,
No.
you gotta. It comes out to context.
Mills Coalition is probably was salivating last game. Davis Mills fans.
All three of them.
All three of them, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna say, yeah. So it looks like a close game. We both kind of agree on that. Any last thoughts? Focus on the run game, I would say. Focus on the run game of the Texans.
Yeah, Pierce has to have at least 20 plus carries.
Yeah. No, definitely agreed. All right. Well, this is again, we're live at the Bull and Bear Pub. We will be signing out shortly, and so you guys can have some time to set up your lineups and all that stuff. Also, remember today at the Bull and Bear, here are the specials that they have going on. They have the let me pull them up. I shouldn't have looked up. All right, here we go. The
$7 burger and hot dog baskets.
Oh, there it is. They got seven. All right, so here it is. $7.99 burger or dog basket. That's right. Comes with fries. It's really good. Give it a shot. $4.99. This is a whiskey that we're promoting here at the Bull and Bear. New whiskey. We don't think anybody in the U.S. has it, or Texas for that matter. It's called Fox's Bow Whiskey, and give it a shot for $4.99. Also, we're probably gonna do that. And then there's also $4 beers, $4 beer of the month, 16 ounce, and for $5, 20 ounce. So give it a shot, see what you think. But that's the promotion going on today. And try the baskets; they're really good, man. Seriously. Also, yeah. Also, lastly, if you want to win a Framber Valdez 2022 replica World Series ring, come to our table over here. Follow us on YouTube, and then sign your name on the ticket, and so you can win a Framber Valdez 2022 World Series Championship replica ring. Let us know. We will announce the winner on our post-game show that we do after the game for about 30 minutes. So we will announce the winner there. So come to us, and we'll have fun.
And as always, I can be bought.
He is not.
Cash,
Don't
Venmo,
listen to this
Zelle.
man. Don't listen to this man. He's drunk too much. All right, y'all. That's gonna be it for our pregame show. We'll see y'all 30 minutes after the Texans versus Colts game. Hopefully, with a win under our belt.
Hopefully, no limitations of sadness like last week. Cause man,
That was bad. All right, Bobby Slovic. Let's see what you got today. That's what I'm gonna be looking forward to. All right, y'all. See y'all after the game. Peace.